This episode of Offhand Disney is not about a Disney park. It's not about Disneyland or the Haunted Mansion or Epcot or Living with the Land or, dare I say, even the Disneyland People Mover. This episode of Offhand Disney is about something else entirely. Because today, I'm going to talk about how dang good Universal's Epic Universe looks. And how Disney's response to Epic Universe is really not cutting it. And it won't be cutting it until they do something a bit bigger and with a bit more thought and a bit more budget. But we're not talking about Disney in this video, not yet at least. Let us turn now to a different corner of Orlando, Florida, to the Universal Orlando Resort. Now, me, personally, I have never, not once in my life, been to Universal, any Universal parks, and that's not by choice, okay? I don't have a vendetta against Universal. I don't hate them and love Disney. I just have never had the time to make it over there when I'm in town. I would love to visit someday, and I will visit someday, because Universal, in a few short months, is going to open their brand new third theme park, Epic Universe. And by the looks of it, it is going to put absolutely everything Disney has done since maybe even before Pandora, even then, to shame. Now, I don't really ever talk about Universal or Epic Universe on this channel, so really quick, Epic Universe will be the third park at the Universal Orlando Resort, and it will consist of 5 themed lands. You have Celestial Park, which is like sort of a Main Street USA slash land. It's got attractions, coasters, and whatnot. You have the Isle of Berk from How to Train Your Dragon, the Harry Potter Ministry of Magic, Dark Universe, which is based around all of the classic Universal monsters, and of course, Super Nintendo World, which is already sort of operating at Universal Studios Hollywood, although it is on a smaller scale. We'll have a whole Donkey Kong Country expansion out in Epic Universe, and all of it looks so good, I can't even quantify to you how excited I am for this park to open. And I'm not even a Universal fan, okay? I don't even like Universal. Well, I think they're fine. But I'm not a Universal super fan like some are. So while Disney's filling in the rivers of America and shutting down Muppet Vision 3D, let's take a look at what Epic Universe has to offer, starting with Celestial Park. In a very similar vein to, say, I don't know, for the sake of comparison, the Disneyland Hotel at Disneyland Paris, called the Helios Grand Hotel, will be part of the land. It will be essentially in the park. And the area will host 2 attractions, the Constellation Carousel, a carousel flat ride, and Stardust Racers, a dual launch roller coaster. And apparently, I'm just reading this now, it will be home to a tiki bar called Celeste Tiki. So I'm gonna go on opening day. I have to try Celeste Tiki. I have to be there. I have to live there. I'm gonna be there for hours. Super Nintendo World, like I mentioned, is sort of similar to Hollywood's version, but this one is much bigger with a Donkey Kong roller coaster, a Donkey Kong expansion, and it's all a bit more spread out. It's not as cramped. And they also have a Yoshi People Mover, so I will be going to Celeste Tiki, drinking a ton of tiki drinks, and then going round and round and round on the Yoshi People Mover until I lose my mind and slip into the 5th dimension, and there's nothing anybody can do to stop me. The second most interesting part for me, though, is Donkey Kong Country in the back, a whole sort of separate secondary land to Super Nintendo World based off of the Donkey Kong Country games, for the N64 by Rare. Oh, this is gonna be great. Minecart Madness, a roller coaster that simulates jumping the track in that absolutely infuriating level in the mines in Donkey Kong Country. I cannot wait to experience this firsthand. This looks absolutely amazing. And a lot of trees, a lot of plants, so you know what that means. Shade. The Harry Potter land, themed after the Ministry of Magic, will contain 2 attractions. One, an entertainment offering, a stage show, which I really do appreciate, especially since Disney has been cutting more and more of their live entertainment from their parks as the days go on. Avengers Campus is soon to be extremely barren, my friends. And the other attraction is a ride, Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry, which is a screen-based drop tower-ish ride with physical sets, but it's also screens and a simulator, but also not a simulator. You don't have to wear 3D glasses, so I don't know. I don't know what this ride is. I've tried. At least it's not a traditional simulator like Jimmy Fallon or Fast and the Furious. The Simpsons and Minions, I don't care. I genuinely don't. I'm sure the ride is going to be fantastic, and I'm excited to see what the hell it is once I get to experience it. But I think the real attraction here, for me at least, the real attraction is going to be the queue, because apparently you get to go into the Flu network and use the Flu powder, and then go into the full-sized recreation of the Ministry lobby, which will be really, really cool. But the actual ride itself will just have to wait and see, because I genuinely do not know what to expect when going into it. And honestly, I kind of like it that way. I mean, get me surprised. Take me off guard. This is going to be fun. Just, again, at least it's not another Star Tours. Got that back in Anaheim. Okay. The Isle of Berk from How to Train Your Dragon. Now this, my friends, this is the one Mrs. Offhand is most excited for, even though it seems to be a little bit more of a kiddie land. Not exactly, you know, Toontown kiddie land, but it's not as intense as, say, Dark Universe or even a Celestial Park Stardust Racers. But the second she hears Test Drive in that land, tears will be flowing, so I am excited to go visit this with her. This land will have 5 attractions: Dragon Racers Rally, a flat ride; Fire Drill, which is an interactive boat ride. I believe you can like squirt water cannons at targets or maybe even other guests; Hiccups Winged Gliders, which is a family launch coaster. Think something along the lines of Slinky Dog Dash at Hollywood Studios if you're a Disney person, which I am. That's what I'm going into it with in mind. The Untrainable Dragon, a themed stage show, again, live entertainment. Disney, it's very important. And Viking Training Camp, a play area with activities. Think the Boneyard or Redwood Creek Challenge Trail at DCA if you're an Anaheim person. Now this definitely skews a little bit younger, but it'll be really interesting to step into that world of How to Train Your Dragon, and I really hope that the Winged Gliders roller coaster, it lives up to the hype, because a How to Train Your Dragon themed roller coaster seems like it would be a slam dunk. I'm very interested to see what this land looks like when the park opens in May. And now, last but certainly not least, I would say probably most for me, Dark Universe. This is the Haunted Mansion if the Haunted Mansion was an entire theme park land, because Dark Universe is themed around all of the classic Universal monsters. Think the Wolfman, the Mummy, Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster, and everyone's favorite vampire lord who doesn't have a mustache or a crush on Captain Jack Sparrow's daughter, Dracula. Now you might be asking the screen right now, offhand, why do you care so much about Dark Universe? There are other lands in Epic Universe that look absolutely amazing, and to that I say, take a look at this. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Dark Universe will be home to 3 attractions: a makeup shop themed around the Universal monsters called the Darkmoor Monster Makeup Experience. Think Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, but instead of princes and princesses, you're being turned into an ungodly amalgamation of body parts that a scientist dug up from a graveyard while none of the authorities were looking. So that honestly sounds kind of awesome. The Curse of the Werewolf, a spinning roller coaster based on the movie from 1941. This is sort of an omnicoaster similar to Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, not anywhere near as intense as that ride. And then the e-ticket of the land, dark ride with screens / simulator. I don't know. It's everything I've read about it is extremely vague, which I guess is on purpose. Everyone's screaming at me that it's not a simulator. So yeah, it's not like Star Tours or Millennium Falcon, but there will be backdrops with screens, sort of like Rise of the Resistance. But I've heard mostly practical effects, but look at, oh man, impressive animatronics like this one that they showed off earlier. They look great, and I'm excited to see more creatures brought to life on this ride, and more importantly, the practical sets, the backdrops. I want to see what the wallpaper of the haunted castle looks like. You know what I mean? I mean, look at this guy. I'm just glad it's not a traditional type of simulator ride like the Simpsons ride or Star Tours, because I can't with those. Not anymore. Too many of those going around for my liking. It seems like theme parks only really want to build simulators and roller coasters now. Those are the only 2 types of rides you can build. And if it's not a simulator, it better be a coaster. And if it's not a roller coaster, don't tear down Muppet Vision. I mean, just don't build it. There are other kinds of rides. Rise of the Resistance did really, really well because it's not a simulator or a roller coaster. It's got simulator aspects, sure, but it's not a simulator. I just think we gotta get back to the roots. Get back to some dark rides, people, come on. And by the look of it, Monsters Unchained, I am trying so hard not to say Monsters Unleashed, Scooby-Doo fans, you know. Monsters Unchained looks like it's gonna be great, and I like a scary ride. I like a spooky attraction. Look at this, spooky. So, now that I've sort of semi-snarkily covered all of the lands at Epic Universe and most of the attractions, I want to talk about why Epic Universe is so important, why it's such a game changer for not just Universal Orlando resorts, but Universal Resorts and Walt Disney World and Disneyland. All of the Disney parks will feel the impact of Epic Universe. I don't necessarily think it's going to be as much of an impact as the Epic Universe, squadron thinks that it will be. I do think that the Magic Kingdom will still stay on top as the most visited theme park in the world. However, Disney will notice, and that is a great thing. Not just for Universal fans, but for Disney fans as well, because competition is really, really good, especially right now. Especially with Disney. When it comes to Hollywood, Disney has a very, very large market share. They own Lucasfilm, which is Star Wars and Indiana Jones. They own Marvel, 20th Century Studios, formerly 20th Century Fox. That's not to say that Disney doesn't have competitors, though. It's not necessarily a monopoly in Hollywood quite yet. There's still Warner Brothers, there's still Universal and Paramount, so Disney still does have to put some work in to make their movies succeed. Sometimes. Okay. The theme parks are a very, very different story. Disney obviously doesn't have a monopoly on theme parks, but to say that they're not the biggest player in the game is an outright lie. Universal Studios, though, Hollywood, Orlando, Japan, they are firmly in the number 2 spot. Because Disney has been number 1 since, well, let's face it, 1955, everything Universal does honestly, from now on, has to be extremely calculated. Universal Studios Orlando kind of fell flat for me because I wasn't really interested in the making of the movies. And even if I was, MGM Studios does that, and it's part of Walt Disney World, so I could just, hop over to Epcot after a day of Hollywood Studios circa 2005. But all of that changed with the opening of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Islands of Adventure in 2010. That was the very first time, I would say, in its history that Disney said, okay, wait a second, hold on. They might be cooking something up over there. Islands of Adventure that year saw a 30% increase in attendance, rising to the 12th most visited theme park on the planet Earth, surpassing even the main Universal Studios in Orlando. And that was a little bit of an alarm bell for Disney because, well, number 1, obviously, was still Magic Kingdom. Number 2, Disneyland. Number 3, Tokyo Disneyland. Number 4, Tokyo Disney Sea. Number 5, Epcot. Number 6, Disneyland Paris. Number 7, Animal Kingdom. And number 8, Hollywood Studios. So Disney still had a bit of a lead there. But you can tell the Wizarding World put Disney on the back foot. For even just a split second, there was a crack in the armor, and Universal knew how to capitalize on it. Disney also wanted to compete with this new Wizarding World and opened Pandora and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, hyper-immersive lands that were modeled sort of after the same system of really, really immersing you in the worlds of these Hollywood movies. Previously, Disney would only build attractions for certain movies. Now, they were getting entire lands. The Wizarding World bothered Disney so much that they even hired the man behind the creative direction of the land, Scott Trowbridge, to helm Galaxy's Edge. And now he's actually helming, I believe, the Avengers expansion over at California Adventure with, Avengers Infinity Defense and Stark Flight Lab. So that'll be interesting to see. And what did Universal do to follow up Harry Potter? They built more Harry Potter. Okay, not every ride they built after the Wizarding World was a slam dunk. The previously mentioned Fast and the Furious Supercharged, terrible. Jimmy Fallon, horrible. People will say, oh, but you have to go on these rides and experience them before forming a judgment. I've been on Star Tours, okay? I've been on Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. I've been to the State Fair and ridden a simulator ride. I know how these work. I know what they're like. But when it came to the Wizarding World, they actually tried a little bit. Hagrid's Magical Motorbike Adventure. While, yes, a roller coaster, not every ride has to be a simulator or a roller coaster. Disney and Universal, this is a great ride. Escape from Gringotts, a 3D roller coaster. Okay, that's fine. But all of the lands surrounding these attractions were hyper immersive, highly detailed. You stepped through the screen into these worlds. And what is Disney doing to answer the bat signal that Epic Universe opening later this year has put out? They're filling in the Rivers of America, just filling that in. We did get the Universe of Energy did close to make way for Cosmic Rewind, which is a fun, it's a roller coaster. And then they are closing down Muppet Vision 3D to build, yes, my friends, that's right, a roller coaster. But if you're worried about the Muppets at Hollywood Studios, don't, my friends, because the Rock and Roller Coaster is being rethemed as a Muppets roller coaster! You know, I remember Disneyland opened in 1955. Walt said, "To all who come to this happy place, please enjoy all 97 of our roller coasters. It's all about the roller coasters, baby. You gotta build all those roller coasters." That's a direct quote. I think genuinely, if I were to rack my brain, the only thing, and I mean this, the only thing that Disney is opening that they've announced so far that sort of, you know, is going head to head with Epic Universe, I think could stand against one of the lands in Epic Universe, is the Villains Land. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen the concept art, is the home of a Maleficent-themed... I'm not going to say it. It's a Maleficent-themed fast attraction. I'm praying to the Eiger gods that Villains Land opens up with one other attraction. Just give me a dark ride. Give me an Omnimover. Please. Not everything has to be a roller coaster. I know that's a hard concept to grasp these days. Just one dark ride. I'm begging. But then you look over at Epic Universe, and while yes, it does suffer from what I call roller coaster-itis, that's not the only thing the park has to offer. Remember the Doctor Strange magic show at Avengers Campus at Disneyland? Gone. Remember the Golden Horseshoe Review at Disneyland? Gone. Remember the Avengers Assemble show at California Adventure? Soon to be gone. Now I'm just trashing on Disneyland cutting live entertainment. We're talking about Orlando here. The Country Bear Musical Jamboree. That is good. That is something that Walt would have built because, I mean, kind of in a way, it a little bit is. Moana, The Journey of Water is also another really good example. That is the most Walt Disney attraction that Disney Imagineering have built in the past couple decades. It's highly themed, it's educational, and it showcases amazing effects. That's like, if Walt were alive now, I feel like he'd love Journey of Water. Now, there's discourse out there right now as to whether or not Disney should be worried about Epic Universe. Do I think that they're worried right now? No, I don't think that they're worried. Do I think that they should be? Maybe. Like I said, I don't think that Epic Universe is going to usurp Disney or the Magic Kingdom as the #1 most visited theme park destination in America or even the world. I don't think it's going to be that. But I do think that there is going to be some serious competition for the very first time ever in Orlando because let's face it, SeaWorld is... well, SeaWorld. And I can only ride the Simpsons ride so many times before I vomit. So Epic Universe is really bringing that theming hyper-immersive aspect that people come to expect with the Disney parks into a Universal park for the very first time. Not necessarily a Hollywood-themed theme park or Islands of Adventure, which has the Marvel Superheroes Island, which... you know, a lot of billboard-looking signs over there. Is it worse than Avengers Campus? You're not gonna like my answer. But Epic Universe sort of represents Universal dipping their toe, cannonballing into the deep end of what Disney have been sort of on and off masters of for the past 70 years, starting in May. And if someone like me, look at the channel name down below. If someone like me is excited for this park, looking forward to visiting, taking time out of their usual week-long Disney stay to do a day or two at Universal, again, look at the username. Disney should be a little bit worried, not about the loss of attendance or people not going to Disney. They need to be worried about them not necessarily being #1 top dogs, masters of their craft anymore, because this is absolutely on par, sometimes even surpassing what Disney has given us within the past decade or so. And Disney, in my opinion, needs to acknowledge that and up their game. Again, not everything has to be a roller coaster. Roller coasters are fun, they're relatively high capacity, and most importantly, they can charge for a lightning lane, but Rise of the Resistance is also an individual use lightning lane. Radiator Springs Racers, that is as well. There's room for Disney to improve, and there's room for rides that aren't dang roller coasters. It's not the point of this video, but it feels like it's taking over at this point. Not everything has to be a roller coaster. Cosmic Rewind is fine because that's the only one in the park. That being said, Disney, all of this will be forgiven if you just bring back Fuji Coaster, the concept for the Mount Fuji roller coaster in the Japan Pavilion. Just bring that concept back and, just disregard this entire video. We'll call it square. Please. And that's not even the end of it. I'm gonna turn it over real quick to Karen Irwin, the president of Universal Orlando Resort. Karen, take it away.
There are already so many things in the works now. We have a slate of new attractions that were already in development for every one of our parks. We're already planning for the next thing at Epic.
Did you hear that? Planning is already underway for the next thing at Epic Universe. She doesn't mention whether it's a land or a restaurant or just another ride, but there is already planning going on for another Epic Universe edition. Disney might not be worried about Epic Universe. I don't know if they necessarily should be, but competition is very important. If you take anything away from this video at all, it's not me hating on Disney, it's not me hating on Universal, and it's not me piling the love onto Universal or Disney. It's me saying that competition is only a good thing for us, the fans, when it comes to the theme parks. And now it seems like Disney is finally, after 70 years, going to have some real competition. And I can't wait to see what that pushes them to do. And I can't wait to see what Villains Land and Cars in Frontierland do to Epic Universe and other Universal parks to push them forward in the world of themed entertainment. This is a win for us. The win is that both of these companies are going to be spending massive amounts of money to get us to buy tickets. And I guess that's kind of a win. Ticket prices will go up, though. Ticket prices will never stop going up. So that's not exactly a win. But yeah, Epic Universe absolutely looks like a win. Unfortunately, I am going to wait a little bit before I visit because that whole ticket bundling deal they're doing when the park opens in a few months isn't quite my cup of tea. Hey there, Dallin from the future here. You know, Dallin from the past is very dumb because he doesn't know back when he made this video that single day tickets for Epic Universe would go on sale the day after he finished editing this video. So joke's on him. Everybody point and laugh at him for a second. Okay, back to the past. But to all the team members and team members' families who've gotten to see it so far, what do you think? I'm so ready to see this thing for real myself with mine own eyes and set foot for the very first time on Universal property. I can't believe I'm saying that, but friends, I am just so ready to go. This park looks fantastic. But what about you, my friend? Do you think that Disney should be worried about Epic Universe, or do you think that it's just going to be a little bit of friendly competition and that the real winners will be us, people like me and you who just want a good theme park to go to? Please be sure to let me know down in the comments below. But I guess at this rate, only time will tell. Do we see Disney pivot? Do we see Universal pivot? Or do we just see the construction of infinite amounts of roller coasters until the entirety of the surface of the Earth is covered with track? With every passing year, that is seeming more and more likely. So that'll be so fun. Hello everybody, thank you all so much for watching this epic video about Epic Universe over at Universal Orlando Resort. I know that I said I was going to try and stay away from Disney conversation, but I really just got to draw the comparison between the two. You know what I mean? You can't talk about Epic Universe without talking about the impact that it may or may not have on Walt Disney World. Disneyland, you're safe for now. For now. So just count your blessings. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. And if you're new around here and you want more videos like this, please hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you. Join the Offhand army, the Offhand army. However, if you didn't like this video, I'm sorry, I apologize. Please also give this video a like. If you want to follow me over at my Patreon, it will be linked down in the description below. You get early access to videos and exclusive access to Patreon exclusive videos. I'm working on one right now. I actually have to go back to Disneyland to refilm something and to get more footage on something, so that's why it's taking me a bit longer, but I will have my Walt Disney World versus Disneyland Tiana's Bayou Adventure comparison video up relatively soon here. If you are a Patreon supporter, thank you for your support. And if you'd rather follow me for free, you can on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Blue Sky. I am at Offhand Disney on all of those different websites. Just makes it a little bit easier for you to find me if you want to. However, that is the end of this video, my friends. Thank you all so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Goodbye.